over 60. If you want to work, that's great. But I don't feel that we should have to work because I've been working since, like, legitimately on paper, I've been working since I was 14. Since I was 14. And when you want to have a little bit of your life for yourself, you mean to tell me that you have to be pushing up on 70 before you can legitimately retire?
Well,
I,
it's the business the job. Enforcement. They're out at 25 years, or 20 years, or 25 years. They're out. They get a kickback, pension, all this.
Hmm.
What are they? I forget what they call this. They got some kind of other kickback, kitty. I don't know. They get like a bundle paid on top of it. Anyway, they can retire like in 20, 25 years at most. So we a lot of the jobs, I got buddies that retired in their mid 50s. Now they've been at their job since 20, right? But
Hmm.
most of them are going to go back and do some more work. And most of them have wives, so they still have benefits. They're not just out here without benefits. Because you got to figure that out when you retire. Because I know a couple guys that retired already before 60. And you've
Yeah,
got to figure, but who's our parents particularly, I'm not going. I would say our parents. They weren't telling us this. They weren't giving us this information. So we weren't thinking about it. We were just working, right?
just working. Yeah, for sure.
We didn't think. And I really thought we were supposed to be able to retire at 62. And they keep pushing the damn thing up
Hmm.
higher and higher because some of them knuckleheads in Congress or whatever, they trying to go up push it to 70. And I'm
Yeah,
like, that's ridiculous.
that's what I'm saying. I asked my mom today. I'm like, "Mommy, what was your age when you retired?" And she said 65, like she just turned 65 or whatever.
Right.
Um, Wait, so we have three comments. Let's grab these three comments before we continue.
Hmm.
Salty Coffee and Blake.
All right. So Holy Leo, it's it deters people from wanting to come in. So I do agree with DJ about that. A lot of people in general, like if you're going to open up a podcast and it's going to be general conversation, you don't want to put any religious or faith or anything in the title because it does deter people from wanting to listen. I saw Lioness and Lion, welcome back, homie, and that's why I'm here. But if you would have had anything related to religion or anything related to that type of talk, I would have just listened maybe for 2 minutes and I'll be out. So, in retrospect, if you want to be inclusive to everyone, I would highly recommend to remove anything related to religion. So, this way it's open conversation and practice on that.
So, guys, just so you know, we're a little late getting to the comments, but um, we started off discussing how with DJ and I coming back, like reacquainting on stereo, we were trying to come up with a title for our podcast, and he came up with the Lioness and the Lion, and I do identify with being a Christian and Bible study and holy things, and so I wanted to be able to have that um, taken into consideration also. And so I said holy Leo. So it was my big holy Bible energy and his big Leo energy coming together. And so here's the thing. I agree with you, sis. It is going to deter people from coming in. It might also bring some people in who want to see what this is all about. I'm never going to walk away from what is important to me and what I identify with. And so I don't want people coming in thinking, you can say anything any kind of way without taking it into consideration what intrinsically is a part of me. So, for as much as I do want this to be inclusive, I also want it to be transparent and saying here's what's going on in my life. And yes, these two types of energies can come together, and we can have conversations that are welcoming and inviting to the masses. If someone's completely turned off by spirituality or religion, I don't know what to say about that. You're going to have people who are a part of my community on stereo, and they'll come on here and they'll hear things that might not jive well with them, and they'll leave. I don't know that we'll ever be able to appeal 100% of people 100% of the time, but we're not going to get stuck on a title. You've offered some really great suggestions. We'll take them into consideration, and I'm just glad that you're here right now. We're having this type of very organic conversation, and we're going to let it do what it do. So we have two more comments.
In other, not to
Mhm.
interrupt you, but in other
Go
words, Saudi, she's mad because I won. That's all she's really saying. This all that talking just meant I won. That's okay.
So,
Next
so
comment.
why do you see why I need big holy energy? Another comment from Salty Coffee and from Blake.
If you're missing a tooth and you want to live your best life, go to Mexico or go to
Girl,
where
please.
my family is dentists. I have a whole family in the Dominican Republic who are dentists, and it's very affordable. I mean, what you would spend on a cruise, you can spend doing your entire mouth. And
Sis,
just go visit every year and have a vacation while you're there.
you got all the ideas today. I'm telling you.
That's
I
real though. That's
no,
real though.
no, I do know that it's real. I do know that it's not as easy to travel as it once was. There are a lot of people who are afraid to travel today. I'm just
Yeah, they
saying.
are. They are.
A
They are.
lot of people are afraid. People who would not hesitate to jump on that type of suggestion, just like people would run to Canada. There are people who would go to Canada to get LASIK surgery to have. Remember when LASIK surgery was really popular? I guess it still is for those of you who wear glasses and you want corrective. Your vision to be corrected. People would just go to Canada and get it done. A lot of things have changed when it comes to travel, unfortunately. Um, let's grab Blake and then we're going to keep things moving. Did you have something, homie, you wanted to say?
You still wear glasses though, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
okay.
that's another story.
Okay.
I
I'm
mean,
just asking.
I
Just
would have it done. I would have it done in Canada too because I go to Toronto every year. I
right,
love
right, right.
Yeah, that's not it. Guys, I don't even want to tell you what's going on with me because you're going to paint the worst picture possible. They're going to think I'm out here looking really jacked up and everything. But I'm not a candidate for LASIK surgery, long story short.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not a candidate. But all right, here we go, Blake.
Guess what, Cool says? I got the Holy Leo out of the drain. Let's talk about the Holy Leo from now on. You and DJ.
He
He's
picked it
he's
back up.
he's laughing though. You can tell he doesn't really buy it.
He
So it's
likes it.
okay. He
Blake
does
has a
not
good
like
heart.
it. He's laughing like I got to get it out the drain.
He has a big heart. He said because you flushed it down the drain, he picked it up out
Yeah,
the
but
drain.
because
He
it
saved
wasn't
it.
any good.
All right.
All
Two.
right, let's go
All right.
with your
Let's keep it.
next thing, or finish your story about your day.
Yeah, so I was just saying, so performance reviews coming up, right? I knew I was going to have mine today. And so I'm leading with this big holy energy, praying about it because I'm not happy. I'm not happy at my job. I'm not happy with the powers that be. I already knew that there were going to be some things that were going to be triggering in my review when I'm a really hard worker, so on and so forth. So I was like praying about it. I'm like, Holy Spirit, I'm gonna need you to take this one. I'm gonna need you to lead the conversation, like guide my words, all kinds of things. Man, 2 seconds into this performance review, I was ready to go for blood. I was like, Holy Spirit, who? Holy Spirit, where'd you go? Because I was losing it. I was losing it. And so these are the times, and this is why I like to be able to talk about, things that are of religion or Christianity, because the struggle is real, you guys. Like, I was really, when I tell you, I was really counting on God to be there, the Holy Spirit to be there, to help guard my words, and to examine my heart and have me just be able to take it in. Man, I felt like I lost my mind in that review. I feel like I lost my mind. And
Well,
here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy
mhm,
thing. Either you're successful or you're not as far as your review rating is concerned. And my
mhm.
review rating was successful. But let them say one bad thing about me and I'm losing my mind. Okay. And that's what happened. I didn't even care that I got the successful. I only cared about, the thing that they said that I thought was very subjective and they couldn't substantiate. And it was just like, oh, they're just going to throw something in there that they can't even quantify. And I wasn't in the mood for it today. I felt let down. Like, I think it's very real for you to be able to say when you feel let down by
Mhm.
he that you have faith in, and that you're asking to be there with you and to guide you, and then things just go wild. All of a sudden, I feel like my whole life just flashed in front of my eyes. I'm
Oh my
coming up. And
goodness.
no, you think I'm being dramatic?
A little bit dramatic. There. Well, let's put. Was there any validity to what they said that you didn't like? Was there any? It was valid at all?
So I'm not being dramatic, and I'll tell you why. I'll start there first, and then I'll answer your question. I'm
Okay.
I'm a single woman. I pay all my bills. I live by myself. So to if my job were to go away, it would there would be drama, right? And
Yeah.
so yeah, when I said I feel like my life flashed in front of my eyes, I'm like, what if, as a result of me just telling them exactly what I thought about their review, I were to lose my job? Do you get what I'm saying? When I say I felt like my life,
Yeah.
because that's how
Well.
people. No, no, DJ, think about what you said before. When you're at this age, there's a lot of ageism, there's a lot of discrimination. Where if we
Mhm.
were in our 20s and 30s, you'd be like, whatever, I'm just gonna go get another job. It was different for us when we were in our 20s and we were in our 30s. Today, listen, when you hear people, you can hear two young people, if you would, having a conversation, and they're like, yeah, I came across this old person the other day, and this person said blah blah blah, and then the other person will say, "Well, how old were they?" They were like 49 or 50, and you're like 49 or 50,
Right.
old person.
Right. Well,
That's how it is
that's
today.
some. Yeah.
That's real.
But
That's
that's how
real.
we thought. I mean, we thought
I did. I didn't think that 40 or
you
50 was old.
when you were 20.
I did not.
Oh, I thought it was. I probably thought it was old. I thought. I mean, it wasn't ancient, but I mean, we're closing in on 60, and I clearly don't feel old. But it's a
But
different
everybody perceives
perspective.
you to be. Everybody else perceives you to be old.
No, they
It's
don't. I mean, when I
April.
say to people, they don't say you look old.
I get
But
that all the time, but it's not.
I do
It,
get. I do get it. I mean, I do understand. I mean, me and you just had that conversation yesterday. Like, I can't believe about to be 60. It
right.
just, it doesn't even seem real, but it is.
It is
So,
real, and it
it
happens
is real.
fast too. And we're going to talk about living your life in the opposite way, because you mentioned earlier. We're going to get this comment too, but you mentioned earlier that, hey, like when we were in college, we didn't really have a clear direction. We were going to college because you were supposed to. We didn't really
Correct.
know what degree to go for. Back in the day, the thing was always, I'm going for a communications degree, or I'm going for a business degree, or
A
whatever.
business degree.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea other than, hey, that just seemed to be the popular thing. So
Right.
what I want to encourage, and also I want us to have a real look at, you know how they say life to death. I want to look at the reverse, death to life. So think about the age, the common age in which people are dying, and then looking back on how they live their life, how they live their lives. Because this is the thing about having conversations where they encourage young people to engage with older people, because when people reach a certain age, they're going to be at a point where they're not talking so much about what's ahead, because death is what's ahead. If we're keeping it real, they're going to talk about, man, whew, if I had it to do all over again, or I remember the good old days, or I have some advice for you. They're going to start looking at life backwards. Does that make sense at all?
Depending on who you speak to. Yeah. I mean, of course. I mean, we all know we
Could
could.
have took it. Well, get this comment before I start running my mouth.
Okay, we had two,
Yeah,
three.
three.
Positive time and salty coffee.
Why not y'all just do a poll on here and you just let each people choose? It's way you can edit or you can do a poll. So do it like that. So that way, if people don't know or have an idea, that you do it at the poll like that, and people can also bring suggestions as well.
Dude, I'm so
Okay.
over the title thing for real. It's really not that serious for a poll, to be totally honest. We're really just
No.
this is in jest. We're just laughing, having fun with it. But the
Mhm.
title is the least of our worries. We're gonna get it together. Right now we're just talking. We're shooting a breeze with you guys. So salty coffee is up next.
I was fortunate that when I started working at a university when I was 20 years old, they had mentors. So I kept that in mind 36 years later. So I've been there for 36 years. And the mentors not only mentored you, because in the private university that I work for, nothing changes other than the number of students and maybe the professors and stuff like that, but nothing, the core curriculum never changes. I mean, it's changing now a little bit. But one of the things, I started a podcast during COVID to help workers understand that they have to update their skills like constantly. Every 2 years, you have to update your resume, or at least every year, and evaluate yourself. Next message.
See, that's good information.
So, and a lot of people lost their jobs in 2020, mostly because they were mandated to take the vaccination. But most of the ones that stay, like myself, I step by step, every 6 months, we will take a course. We actually now finalize like a AI courses and always update your skills. So when you have a position or a job or a career where you have to be evaluated, do self-evaluation on your skills and what you think based on your career that you're currently working at. Where is it going in the next 2 years? Because they do these tactics to encourage you to leave, get tired, frustrated, stress levels are up, your health is down.
Yes, yes, I agree. And I'm gonna let me grab this other comment before it's positive time.
Hmm.
Hey, I'm about to go. I might come back in later, but I pray y'all have a blessed night if I don't. And I'll try to talk to y'all later. Sorry about how I'm talking. Got the stuff in my mouth. I pray y'all have a blessed night.
All right.
So sis, yeah, I like what you're saying is good advice. It's sound advice. Um, at 60, I am really not. trying to learn a new skill. Like I'm trying
Mhm.
to just live my life at this point. I feel that I've done enough working within corporate America, and I just want to live my life creatively. So anything that I would want to take on next would be something that I want to do for me, where I'm the person in charge. I can live my best life creatively, and it's not that I don't want to work. It's just I'm just over working within corporate America, and I've worked for nonprofits. I Most of my career has been in management, and I got to a point where I didn't want to do management anymore. I said I just want to show up, do my job, and that's it. So the difficulty that I am faced with, the difficulties that I'm faced with, is because I was in management for so long. I can recognize bad management. So for it's coming up on 10 years, it's pretty much like, okay, stay in your lane, stay in your lane, stay in your lane. They don't know what they're doing. Stay in your lane, stay in your lane. You're not in management. And then at this point, it's like, okay, one more ridiculous performance review. And it was like the what do they call it? The needle that what is it?
Haystack.
The straw that
That's
the
something that broke
straw.
the camel's back.
It was
Yeah.
like that because it's just like um without being going into too much detail, it was cringy because it's just like, are you kidding me? How is it that HR wouldn't kick this back? Like, what are you doing? You call this a performance review? It was like that. And so and again, if I'm just a bottom line person and say, well, hey, you want to get it successful, and you did, just live with that. But I take the work that I do very seriously. I take what's put in writing very seriously. And so I'm always going to be that person to advocate for myself. And people don't want to hear it. It's definitely going to be like, you're not a manager, so just take it. And I am a manager. I manage myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying. And I'm kind of our position is kind of a supervisory position, depending on who's out in the field, whatever.
Hmm.
But the problem is, um, it's kind of pigeonholed because the position that I am, I can look at the national average. I'm right up there. I could be a little higher, and I probably would as as I progress through the ages. It's going to go up. But the only irritation I would really see is how they come up with different jobs for other people so they can make more money and throw them into it because they're not like they're good for doing project manager, project coordinator. That's the new scam. So the project coordinator, he really ain't coordinating nothing, or
Right.
she's not coordinating nothing. But that allows you to put it in a higher pay range. That's my only issue. That's one of my main issues at work. Um, Besides that, you kind of for me. I kind of pigeonhole myself in the position I'm in. I'm close to being top of my position if they push it up or not. So I'm not being underpaid as far as the national average, or even at the high end. Only way I'm going to make money if I go out to a private company and work like hell by myself, because that's why they'll pay you more because you'll be doing all the work yourself. They might give you a vehicle, but you might work in 12 hours. I'm not going to do that. Not at 60 years old. I don't, that's no enjoyment. So,
Right.
and then
Right.
reviews in private were like, back to going to private because I'm government, but when I was in private, were, were complete trash. Oh, they said, oh, yeah, you got a good review. Let's say you got fours out of fives, whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
I say, and I still got the same crappy raise. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not gonna sit here and whine. My supervisor now, whatever. I got all fives and whatever. You're great, blah blah blah. I was like, okay, what does that mean when finance?
Nothing.
What is
How
that?
old is your supervisor,
Yeah.
first of all?
Huh?
How old is your supervisor?
Well, like a year older than me. But
Yeah.
he's
So
been doing it year. He's been doing
it's
his job longer than me.
Yeah, so I say that to say that even people when they get to a certain age, they don't care. I'll give them all five. Makes my life easier. Makes theirs easier. I can't give them any money, but it. And so, listen. Part of this is what really gets me is when you work for a company where they don't give you raises, they don't give you bonuses.
Mm.
A lot of things that you used to get, you don't get anymore, and you stayed with that company. There's a
What's up,
loyalty to
chat?
that company, even if you're there out of necessity to pay your bills or whatever. There's still loyalty to that company. But unfortunately, what ends up happening, we feel that we need the company more than they need us. There's a lot of things that we have
Okay, so you
done
can hear me.
societally that really has hurt us. There was one day when I just gave a lot of thought and consideration to, okay, as I mentioned before, I'm single, I have my own home. I remember getting my first home. It was right before I turned 30 because my goal was to have a home by the time I turned 30. And I got it right before I turned 30. And it was supposed to be my starter home. I was going to live there like 5 years or whatever. I ended up being there for 14 years. And then it got to the point where I was like, oh, I'm just sick of this whole homeowner thing. And I moved to the other side of town with my guy at the time. And we were renting, and it felt much better, that the responsibility is on somebody else. When something goes wrong, they have to pay for it, and so on. And then when the pandemic hit, and there was a lot of fear out there, with the whole stay 6 feet, at least 6 feet away from me. Somebody cough, you think you're about to die, they're not wearing a mask or whatever. And so i
Right.
was i was staying in an apartment at this time, and the people, they didn't care, they're coughing, they're all up in your face. I said, nope, I need my own space. So what did I do? I said, I'm gonna get another house. So that's what I'm in another house. So I'm going to land this plane, everybody. So let me just tell you this. So just, I think about this often. I think about how I'm a single woman. I own a house. I have my own vehicle. I'm paying all these bills and what have you. I have a sister who's single. She, is paying all her bills, car note or whatever. Have another sister. Now she's married and has two sons. She and her husband, they have two sons. They have several vehicles. They're paying a mortgage, all the things, right? And then I have my parents who are in their 80s. I want to say they're like 82. And they have a couple of cars. They have a home. So I'm looking at it and I said, man, oh man, all of us have all of these things because we want our own. We want our own. So we get to the point where success looks like having my own house, having my own car or vehicles, and even having my own space. So we work, 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 work because of our wants, not because of our needs. And then you look at other cultures. Let's talk about Jewish people or Asian people who they will have 10 people up in one house, right? And they don't have that financial burden that we place on ourselves. We do this to ourselves. And so my one sister, oh my God, she constantly complains because she wants to live in a certain area of town. She moved to DC back in the late 80s, early 90s, and she stayed there until just maybe three years ago. So when
Hmm.
she moved back here, she wanted to find the area that would be reminiscent of how and where she was living in DC. She wanted it to be kind of hip, you know, kind of fly, walkable, all kinds of things. So she pays a nice price to live in that particular area. So she complains about it often. And so one day I said, you know what? I said we should get a house together. It could be like a duplex or whatever, or it could just be
Hmm.
big enough where we have our own. I don't want to live with you. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not thrilled to live with you either. But I'm just saying, let's think smarter versus making things harder for ourselves. And you want your own space and everything, but when you complain every day about your situation, paying a lot of money to live in a certain area, people aren't taking care of things like they want to, you have these bills. It's like, well, what can we do about it? There's something we can do about it, but we choose not to.
We've been
And
tricked. We've
we've been
been you're so on point. I've had this conversation with multiple people. Sorry, you're so on point. But and you're talking about people that have communities compared to, um, I guess we consider ourselves kind of disenfranchised or definitely under scrutiny more than most people. Other groups. Okay, I'll just put it that way. So they getting away with a lot of stuff. Scam. Some of that stuff is whatever, but even the Indian folks, I don't know what you if you call them Indian, they do that too. They live with each other. Even the wealthy, like the wealthy, um, like I know people that own survey companies, but the kids come home to live with them. It's a
hmm
big house. Don't get me wrong. They
hmm
living in a nice area, but they live together. And to your point, I asked my sister the same thing. I was
yeah,
like, and of course she's older.
yeah,
I was like, we should just get a house together. But we've been tricked. The whole American scam was go out on the world, take on the world by yourself, blah blah blah. It's
hmm
nonsense.
it is.
If you stay together as a group, you consolidate your money. Just think about it. When you go on vacation, somebody's there to watch the house. If you
Right,
got kids, family, there you somebody there to watch them. You all grow. I'm not saying being a shack. I'm not saying
right,
being a
right.
little, but I'm saying like what you just said about your sister. It's the most logical thing in the world. Let's get a
Absolutely.
nice, even if we get a nice four-seater, we can
Right,
gut it. You live on that side, I live on this side.
absolutely.
I'm always there for you. You're there for me.
hmm
Um, and you figure it out. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, but it should be pretty good. That's the most logical thing in this world to do.
hmm
But we've been so hoodwinked in this country to think, oh, because my cousins were like, her parents, they did good. My cousins did parents did good. The one who hired me at the Dairy Mart back in the day. They
hmm
did good. And they had a big house. All these
Yeah,
losers could have came and stayed with them. But I gotta get out my own. I gotta have my own space.
absolutely.
Where all you did is pay somebody else a lot of money to act like you got this space that you really ain't even you're not even there half the time because you working all the
Absolutely.
time.
Absolutely. And to call yourself a homeowner when you don't own your home. I mean, some people do, but
Nobody
you
does.
paying
Nobody
a
does.
mortgage, right? You're paying a
Nobody does.
mortgage. And it's just it just blows my mind. Like sometimes like I'll look at even in my house. Okay, so I have I don't even want to count how many TVs I have, right? And it's like why? Why,
Right.
why,
Right.
why? Like
Because
just
you
all the
can.
things. It's right.
Mhm.
And so then you find yourself if talking about a side tooth and how much money it would cost to get your tooth fixed. Well, guess what? You could afford to get it fixed if you lived a different lifestyle. If we actually focused on loving each other unconditionally and in a way where we strive for this. I want my own space. I want my own. I want my own. I want my own. And
Right.
then what you find is the sense of family. Oh my gosh, is there even a sense of family anymore? um it's there
Certain
was I
communities it is. Yeah.
certain communities, but then I know people who like I talk to my parents every day. I talk to my sisters like every day. We're communicating like every day. There are people who are they wouldn't call it estranged, but they are estranged. If they talk once a year or a couple of times a year, it's like that's doing something. I don't know how it has come to this point, how we have arrived at this point where community is that's what's going down the drain, a true sense of community. Now you have people who will talk about polygamy and having a bunch of wives and they're down for that, but you ain't trying to live in a community with family members.
Where do we go? Where do we jump off into polygamy?
You know why I jumped into that? because when some people will support polygamy and saying, we're all living together, taking care of each other. We're raising families. It's a
Right,
collective. It's a
right.
community. But I'm saying, so is family. Family is a community, or can be as well, but we don't embrace that. So
We yeah.
here we are. People are living paycheck to paycheck, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you have I was watching this show. It's called Love is Blind. I don't know how many. Shout out to the reality dating show people watchers. Um People watchers.
That's okay.
Dating.
Keep going.
I did it wrong, guys. I got it wrong. But anyway, shout out to the people who watch reality dating shows. So anyway, there was this dude. He's like 28 years old. So he was heavily into sports, did a lot of traveling because of sports, and then he got to the point where he came back to, I guess, like his hometown. His parents have this big house or whatever. He moved in with his parents, and some parents, they love it. They Because it's tough for some people to become empty nesters. They actually miss their kids and everything. When his husband and wife just looking at each other all day and grumbling or grunting hello, sitting in front of the TV, somebody's in another room, you do miss having somebody else in the household. So anyway, he moved back home. He had the basement area, which was lucrative space. And so his thing was, I can live here comfortably. When I get my woman, we'll move out, get a house. Why should I go somewhere else and spend a crazy amount of money when I can live
Mm-hmm.
here? So he met this lady, and she came for him. Here, you're 28 and you live at home.
Right.
And he had a job. He had a job, and it was like, well, yeah, I do live at home because for the longest I traveled because of sports. And when I came back home, why would I go somewhere and pay a lot of money to rent when I could live here until I'm ready to move out and buy a house with my woman? It gives us a better start. You know what? It gives us better footing. And she just dogged him. She came for him. And if you have DJ, a son who's pretty much fresh out of college. I want to say, I know people who have kids fresh out of college, and I'm going to speak about Black relationships, because what you will find, just because I can speak more about it because I am Black, but what you will find is, but this is not exclusive to a particular race. So let's just say young women who are at the top of the totem pole, or just women when it comes to earnings and their value. They're making some money. So when they're looking for a mate, they are saying that this person in their 20s, mind you, in their 20s, not somebody in their 30s or 40s, but in their 20s, they will say they need to be making six figures,
Right.
right?
Which is ridiculous.
This is what they're saying. But we say it's ridiculous, but then they have receipts where they're making that, they consider themselves to be. And I heard, is your friend on here right now or no? I
No,
don't know.
no, he's not. He's not.
Okay, so I didn't know if Bobby was your friend, but anyway, I heard your friend who happens to admire Kevin Samuels. Makes me want to gag. I think I threw up in my mouth talking about him. But Kevin
Right.
Samuels and the whole high value man, high value woman, or whatever. So you have women who are considered to be high value women when you look at their paychecks, you look at their education, you look at their bank accounts. And so they are looking for men to be able to bring that type of financial um security into the relationship. So where you have a split sometimes is, you might have to go older if you're looking for a man to bring that type of financial stability. If an older man is bringing that type of financial stability, he wants a younger woman. I mean, it's
Right.
really crazy how we look at relationships today. And we
Well,
go ahead.
it's
I want to.
unrealistic. It's unrealistic. That's what
What
it
part?
really is. Well, you got to realize.
Even like Samuels broke down that you're talking about a small percentage. We're talking about black men, was per se. We're talking about a small percentage of a man that makes six figures, over $100,000. First of all, second of all, most of the girls on the ladies on the show that he brought, they weren't making that kind of money. First of all, they weren't bringing.
Get here.
Bro,
I thought he was. Hello.
come
How's it going?
on. Hello. Are you?
Hello.
Come
How's it going?
on. Hello. Are you there?
No,
Let us
we're
up,
gonna
let
cut
us
him.
up, let us up, let us up, let us up, let.
I am. How am I wild? 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 How am I loud? Your hey, what's up? Hello? 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 What are you doing? We're just wandering around.